you have burning feet? Do you have foot pain at night when you're resting on the couch? This might be a weird one, but it's called Grierson-Gopalan syndrome. This is also known as burning feet and leg syndrome. The studies are not robust. They're kind of confusing, but this is nerve pain, and we're going to go over the best home remedies, what you can do to get rid of your burning nighttime foot and ankle pain. We're starting right now. When I did a research article study, this is basically as sparse as I have ever found any disease, because it's so hard to do studies on something that's so poorly defined. But Grierson-Gopalan syndrome is another name for burning foot and burning leg syndrome. So that means it can get really achy and tender at nighttime. You can have hot, sweaty chills. Your feet can turn red. They can turn achy. If this sounds like you, this might be Grierson-Gopalan syndrome. Number one, let me start with this, is nerve diseases are extremely difficult. Even though we're going to go over some amazing home remedies and treatments that are very effective for nerve disease, let me say number one, there's 600 plus articles that I personally have looked at that contribute to peripheral neuropathy and Grierson-Gopalan syndrome type disorders. This gets very tricky because there's a lot of different vitamins. There's a lot of different treatments. So the first thing you want to do is go see your podiatrist. And if you're in Michigan, come see us. So burning hot feet could be something else. And I would say, in my opinion, over 50% of the time, it's not nerve disease. It's quickly fixable stuff, but people are taking pain medication. They're trying all this difficult stuff that's costing them a lot of money, and it's not getting their problem better. So go check with your doctor, go check with your podiatrist, and we'd love to do that if you're in our area. But what we would do is, number one, we'd get an assessment, because a lot of the time, burning feet and leg pain could be a skin condition. It could be a muscle condition. It could be a tight tendon, a tight ligament, and that's usually what it is. It's not these undefinable nerve diseases. And even if it is a nerve disease, all this extra stuff adds to it, because the fact that you have a nerve problem makes this other stuff more likely, and that's probably why your nerve problems developed in the first place. What we would do is, number one, we would get an x-ray. We would evaluate your foot structure. Is there arthritis? Is there damage? Are you tight in that joint? For most people, it is. Number two is I would look at your skin. Is there athlete's foot? Is there bacteria? Sometimes you could get a biopsy of the nerves to see how much or how little nerve fiber density there is, and that could contribute to assessing nerve disease and why you're getting burning hot feet that are causing tenderness. The next thing we would do is grab a lab test. How's your blood sugar? A lot of people are diabetics even though they didn't know they had diabetes, and this could be diabetic peripheral neuropathy. And if you have that, click above, because we have that in great detail in our videos. Blood tests. Are you deficient in certain nutrients? Do you have kidney problems? Do you have heart problems? Do you have blood flow problems? So we work in a clinic where we have access to a vascular specialist, and they could essentially test your blood function. They can put a number on it, and what that does is it tells us if there's a blockage, if there's narrowing of your blood vessels. If there is narrowing of the blood vessels, sometimes medication changes, sometimes a procedure called an angioplasty, which is a balloon that expands your blood vessels. Sometimes a stent needs to be put in. All this stuff is possible because more blood flow will make your feet ache and burn less. That's a pain called intermittent claudication. That means because they're too narrow, the blood vessels, you're not getting enough blood flow, and your skin and your toes are aching and throbbing. And that happens at nighttime. When you put your feet up in the air, it has to fight gravity to get there. So sometimes that happens to people. Another common cause is a back injury. If you have a crushed back, lumbar vertebrae, or a thoracic vertebrae, this back injury could lead to sciatic pain, compression nerve pain. This is called the radiculopathy. And a radiculopathy means in your back, you have a squeezed nerve that's always aching, and it makes it feel like your feet are hurting, especially when you're up on the couch and sitting. That can cause that type of pain. So let me rule out some basic stuff is before you even get to the nerve problems, skin problems. The most common one I see is athlete's foot and sweating. So red hot burning feet could be athlete's foot. So are get a good shoe. So getting a good shoe, see how it's soft, breathable material. Get a breathable shoe. This could let you sweat. This could get rid of the fluid a lot easier. This could make a big difference. Another one is, do you wear big, thick socks like that? Maybe get a lighter athletic sock. A lighter athletic sock could make a big difference. It lets you breathe more, plus a breathable shoe. That could really make a big difference. How often do you take a shower and clean your feet? If you don't take a shower every week, or maybe multiple weeks go by, you're gonna have a lot of dry, itchy skin with a lot of fungus and a lot of bacteria built up on that dry, itchy skin. That's essentially what athlete's foot is. It gets the name athlete's foot because athletes sweat a lot, and bacteria and fungus live on that dead, dry sweat and skin. They chew it up, and before you have a chance to shower, if like 24 hours go by, it gets really itchy, it gets really red. This is called eczema and dermatitis. These are red, itchy conditions, and then you scratch your feet, they burn, it gets very irritated. So what I'm a big fan of doing is foot soaks. Soak your feet. Epsom salts are really good. I have some great links down in the bottom for tubs and Epsom salt soaks. These can be very effective, and that can get rid of itching. I also have links to my athlete's foot guide and video that could be very effective. So some easy home prevention is, are you a smoker? So number one, smoking is associated with blood flow problems. So there's two things smoking does. It makes your red blood cells carry less oxygen. And then number two, it actually narrows your blood vessels. So if you're a smoker and you have nerve pain where you're having a hard time sleeping, no vascular surgeon, well, at least a reputable one, will probably not do surgery until you take steps to at least cut back or get rid of your smoking. Alcohol. Alcohol is one of the top causes of nerve pain and nerve disease. So it actually has a name. It's called alcoholic peripheral neuropathy. So if you have burning, numbness, tingling, and you drink alcohol, and I mean, not just like a couple beers on a birthday party or something a couple times a month, but if you're doing it multiple times a week and you're doing more than like 2 to 3 beers, it's probably going to be a problem because it associates bad health. You're probably eating bad food at the same time. You're probably eating junk food at the same time when you're out and doing this kind of stuff. There's a large link between sugar levels, alcohol, and nerve disease. Ice and massage. Icing probably won't help it that much, but there's a couple medications. So capsaicin is a cream that could be put on. It makes the skin feel red hot, but eventually that does cool down. It does start to feel better, so that can be very effective. Number two is, I got BioFreeze right here. It's a roll-on that works really well. You roll it on the bottom of the foot, so you can see right here, I got my foot with its nerves. You can roll it on the skin. It tingles for a few minutes, but then it actually starts to do better. Essential oils. Essential oils on skin can be very beneficial. Number one, it can help the skin stay moisturized. And number two, it just feels good on the skin. If you have it, feel free to use it. Don't go out and spend crazy amounts of money because lots of lotions work well. You could get the Gold Bonds, the CeraVes, even the Vaselines, the cocoa butters. All that stuff will work well. Creams are thicker and they stay on longer. Lotions go in quicker, get better results, but don't last as long. Lotions and creams can be very effective. They can both help skin conditions and stop some of the irritation of the skin that bothers the synapses on the edges of the peripheral nerves. So what's the downside? It's low cost, it's effective. A warm bath before you go to sleep can help. A bath does two things. It warms the blood flow, so you're getting more circulation. Make sure it's not too hot. But number two is it also cleanses the skin. It makes the skin feel a whole lot better. You can get some great results that way. Vitamins. There's a lot of vitamins. I'm going to touch on some of the big ones. So alpha lipoic acid. This can be a great one to take. There's some studies out there. But when I say there's studies, listen, they're not great studies. There's so many variables with nerve diseases that alpha lipoic acid, if you're deficient, like if you're living on a ship and you're not eating the right nutrition, then maybe. But make sure you get a good daily multivitamin. Alpha lipoic acid can help. Another two big ones are vitamin B6 and vitamin B12. This is probably the number one studied one. At least in our profession as foot doctors, we see this a lot for peripheral neuropathy for the feet. Vitamin B6 and B12 can be very effective in reducing foot pain, this numbness, burning, and tingling type pain. But again, over a couple of years, it's maybe a little bit of an improvement. It's not a huge improvement. So don't make this your only solution. Vitamin E, same thing, can be helpful, but the studies aren't great. Acupuncture. Personally, I don't have a lot of experience in acupuncture. Does it have great studies? I don't think so. I don't know of a lot of great studies. I check occasionally. I just don't see it, but a lot of people swear by it. Just because there's no study doesn't mean it doesn't work. But the fact that there is no study, it's certainly not in the benefit of acupuncture, especially in the face of skeptics. Nerve injections. So nerve injections can work really well. So when you come see a podiatrist at the office, a nerve injection, the posterior tibial nerve, top of the nerve, if there's a compression injury or inflammation, this could really help. I've seen these, if diagnosed properly, really reduce the pain and stay away for a long time. But again, it's part of the treatment. Walk it off. When you get up in the middle of the night, there's 2 forms of exercise that I recommend people do. Is number one, if you have a stationary bike, maybe get up, get the blood flow going a little bit. This can help the blood flow. It can reach the nerves, can make it feel a bit better. Sometimes just getting up and walking back and forth in the hallway can make that burning and tingling get a little bit better. That's more of a vascular, which is blood flow and nerve component at the same time. Get good sleep. So a lot of the times, sleeping will make nerve pain better. I know it's almost like a catch-22. Hey, buddy, I wish I could sleep and then I wouldn't have this nerve pain, but I can't sleep because I have this nerve pain. And the next thing is there's medications. When you come see your podiatrist and your primary care doctor or neurologist, there's gabapentin, there's Lyrica, there's the antidepressant medications that can really help. And then there's the actual pain medications. So, the narcotic medications. So the biggest thing is, here's where we really get into my favorite solutions is you're wearing good socks, you're wearing breathable shoes, get a good supportive slipper. So I link some below in our favorite shoe guides, but look at even slippers with an orthotic built into them. I'll go over that in a while, but wearing something inside the house, because most people with severe pain probably don't leave the house, but if you do, a slipper is really effective. And then what you want to do is same kind of thing. This is an over-the-counter orthotic. They don't have to be expensive. They're down in the show notes, but look at, without the orthotic, look at how the foot flattens out. This stretches all the nerves here and can cause nerve damage. It stretches out the ones at the bottom. It could cause stretching and nerve damage there. And on the outside of the ankle right here, it squeezes this joint right here, causing joint pain. All 3 of those mechanisms cause a lot of joint and nerve pain, and your feet at the end of the day will ache, and that aching and swelling will stretch your nerves and cause red hot nerve pain. Cross training. So cross training works really well. If you're walking and standing all day, or you're running with exercise, go on a bike, go in a pool. If you're heavy, like 300-400 pounds, get in a water aerobics pool. COVID's ending now, pools are starting to open up. Get in there, soaking in the water can help. The chlorine can kill the fungus and bacteria on your skin as well. And you're getting some exercise, you're getting the blood flowing. And that gets you in great shape, gets your muscles stronger, it gets you exercising more. Do some cross training, some weightlifting, some water aerobics, some swimming, some biking. It doesn't have to be standing where you're stretching and damaging your feet the whole time. An ankle brace can work really well. An ankle brace can hold your foot fairly straight. And these braces basically prevent things like tarsal tunnel or stretching of your ankle and plantar fascia. Hey, guess what? We have a phenomenal book. I believe this is the premier book on chronic nerve pain and peripheral neuropathy pain on the planet. I've put years of work seeing tens of thousands of peripheral neuropathy patients, working with some of the best diabetic endocrinologists, the best doctors, the best neurologists, in building out this book. For you, my viewers, we have a discount code available. Get on our mailing list and get that book down here.